Hello, and welcome to another ohmTown Daily, Season 2, Episode 258 for September 15th, 2023. Tonight we're going to discuss, well, of course the UAW walks out. They're on strike. Cheapburgers on National Cheeseburger Day. Ununity. A year after the Met Museum raises prices. Because the site formerly known as Twitter is a dumpster fire. I need to become a Fire Department Clerk in Buffalo. Archeologists find the Mayan version of Slytherin. I have a gesture that I'd like to show Microsoft. RTX 4070 price drop, maybe. And the Attack Librarian. So welcome to another ohmTown Daily. Hello, crazy cat lady. Yeah, I started a little early today. It is not 9 p.m. yet. I'm kind of thinking about moving things to 8. And seeing, because I've got a, the hour before is that I start all of this, is freed up a little bit. And so I was considering moving everything to 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. And the AI is not here today. Oh, so let me do that. I am Merwad. That is ohmTown.com. And the AI is on vacation. So we've already selected, I already have all 10 of the articles. So let's get into it. The very first one is about the UAW. I think it's kind of, I was trying to be cheeky with this title because it's United Auto Workers. And of course, they are on strike and they're walking out because they're on strike because they're auto work. Never mind. I don't know. So the very first article, let me do my transition. It's a total hot mess here. UAW strike update. What's next as auto workers walk out? 3 facilities across 3 different states went on strike at midnight in the first wave of union work stoppage. This is going to get messy. Caitlin Lewis over at Newsweek.com put this together. UAW negotiators have been working with the top 3 automakers, Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Stellantis for months. Stellantis sounds like something that I would find in the game Starfield. Maybe that's what their aspirations are. Anyway, for months on a new set of contracts for employees, bringing to the table a list of demands, including double-digit pay raises. Increased paid time off and enhanced benefits. Son of a gun, if it really, really sucks to have aspirations for work-life balance and actually a livable wage in this day and age. I know, it really sucks. Yesterday, I linked to and talked about a multimillionaire that sat there and said, hey, I think everybody should just start getting fired, and maybe unemployment increasing would show everybody that they should be on bended knee and kissing the ring of the millionaires because ... Well, no, see, this is what happens. People need to get paid, and you can't have billionaires running the companies and not, spreading some of that wealth. The reason why companies exist is because of the workers, not just because of the people. You can't run a company with no employees, but every one of those employees could spin up their own company. So, when it comes to taking risk, I think employees have a bigger burden because they don't have copious amounts of money from either investors or from, being born in the right time or class or whatever. So I don't know. I'm at odds with speaking against things like unionization or workers' rights. And not everybody, the whole place it shouldn't consist of people going, well, I'm being harmed. I'll let somebody else deal with it later. I'm going to go somewhere else. That's just, it shouldn't be how it is. I think everybody should be kind of brought to the floor and have to justify why they're treating people like crap. And meanwhile, they're rolling up in their $100,000+ cars and visiting from their third home, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's about equality. And I'm not even talking about things like realigning wealth, redistributing wealth. I'm just talking about having some frickin' respect for those who are actually working within a corporation. Anyway, Friday marks the first time in UAW's 88-year history that members are going to strike against all three major U.S. automakers. The union represents roughly 150,000 employees across Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Among UAW's requests to manufacturers include a 40% pay increase over the next 4 years, cost of living adjustments, the elimination of wage tiers, and heightened retirement benefits for all employees. Yeah, I'm not sure why anybody would get bent out of shape about retirement benefits for all employees. The U.S. Postal Service actually got slammed by having to capitalize their entire retirement fund instead of just capitalizing those who are about to retire, and so that there was generation of revenue equal to who was being retired. They had to fund it all, which basically put a ton of downward pressure on the U.S. Postal Service, and that largely allowed other mail services to swoop in. Then you have somebody that's kind of cannibalizing, hacking up the infrastructure of the USPS, supposedly to make it all better. So it's these abusive policies and procedures and practices and whatnot just kind of needs to be spoken about, and the UAW is doing it via strike because nothing else seems to work. Just like that rich person yesterday said that all of the workers need to go on unemployment, and maybe that will help them, settle down a little bit. A UAW strike sends a message to stockholders, stakeholders, investors, and whatnot. Everybody that has something to say about it. No, we are not just a resource for you to drive into the ground. Unironically, auto workers. Anyway, let's go on to the next article. The next article is probably the one time you'll be able to afford fast food, it seems. I actually went through a fast food place today, and a combo meal was $12. $12 for chicken sandwich. $12. Anyway, this is over at the Hatch Ideas channel. McDonald's is selling 50-cent double cheeseburgers for National Cheeseburger Day. Wendy's is giving them out for a penny. Burger King is also doing something. But it says here in the little snippet, Wendy's and Burger King are running discounted burger promotions on September 18th. McDonald's is doing the same thing. Wow, I feel like I didn't do the transition on that one, but that's okay. We'll keep moving forward. Nicholas Vega is the author of this, and it's over at CNBC in their Make It section. So remember, folks, on September 18th, you can go in and you can get one cheeseburger for 50 cents. The rest will, like Crazy Cat Lady says, a large fry at our local McDonald's is $4.80. I'll round up before tax of $7.35. 7.35%. Yeah, fries $5. And then if you get a drink and you get a regular price like cheeseburger or Big Mac or something like that, then you're looking at like $10, $12. I'd rather sit down at a regular restaurant and order something, like so you can actually sit down and it's still $12. You might have to get a glass of water instead of a Coke, but you'll still get an actual burger, like something that you can actually hold, and it doesn't look like somebody ran over it in a Abrams battle tank. So the offer is available only to customers who use the fast food chain smartphone app. This is the McDonald's one. Others, I think you can just drive through. It's the latest app-based promotion from McDonald's, which in July gave out free fries in honor of National French Fry Day. And earlier this year, McDonald's offered a 6-piece McNuggets. If you use the app, they give you various freebies from time to time. I guess, I don't know. I try to shy away from fast food, but sometimes, that's what you got to do. You got to go get some fast food. The last place that I went to took so long, it stopped being fast food. I felt my beard get longer. That one was pretty amazing. But the meal was great. Okay, let's keep on going. I'm going to rifle through these. Oh, and before I get too far into this, jeepers creepers, throw these all into the chat so you can follow them to your heart's content. They are over in the election page as well over on ohmTown.com, and they'll be in the show notes. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you can always check that out. This next article is over in the mobile channel. Mobile game studios with billions of downloads pledged to turn off Unity ads. So this is the un-Unity segment. For whatever reason, Unity has lost its mind and is trying to charge per install of the runtime for Unity. So if you install it, uninstall it, reinstall it, it's supposedly going to be another charge, 20 cents to the developer. And it's supposed to be retroactive, which I think is actually illegal. We'll see if a class action pops up. Defenders of developers need to unite and bring some attention to this, more so than they are right now. But mobile game studios with billions of downloads pledged to turn off Unity ads. It's one of the things that you'll get a lower rate charged to you as a developer if you have Unity ads, a service from Unity, embedded in your app. The video game industry is in an uproar after Unity, an extremely popular tool for making games, announced it will begin charging developers a fee every time someone installs their game. My firewall will be setting itself literally on fire trying to stop the packets from going to Unity. Now, mobile studios with billions of downloads are striking back with a pledge to turn off ads that are a source of revenue for Unity. In an open letter that was created on Thursday, studios said that Unity's new runtime fee, as the install fee is called, jeopardizes small and large game developers alike, made without any industry consultation. Well, greed doesn't need consultation. It just needs an audience. So, and the way that I likened this was in other conversations that I've been having. This is the same as D&D. D&D fired off this screed about changing its policy, and people who made over X amount of money were going to get dinged with a fee. And the entire industry railed against it. And I don't know how many people switched over to Pathfinder and other open source role-playing games because D&D made this dramatic shift. And again, it's just like that, in that Unity didn't do this at the beginning of its rise to utilization. It waited until everybody was utilizing it, and there was some type of expectation of performance at the given rate. Now, I know that there are people out there that have already told me, well, it doesn't kick in until $200,000, but when it does kick in, it can be significant, and it's 20 per install. So if you have a lot of installs and the game isn't a very expensive item, it doesn't matter. It's 20 cents an install, and it's still at a $200,000 price point. And if you have to pay developers, $200,000 in a year isn't that much, depending on what the game is. It may not even make money within the first year, 2 years. It could be breaking even, if that, even at $200,000. So it doesn't really make sense. And for it apparently to be retroactive, if somebody can tell me that it's not retroactive, then that's great. But my understanding is that this applies to everything that has the runtime, including older games. It has the install, it has the runtime. If somebody pulls it out of their Steam library and reinstalls it, it will ding them 20 cents. So I think it's asinine. But with that, we'll keep on watching this and see what happens. I think Unity should swallow its pride and say, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go back to the original one. But I understand what a CEO's job is. It's not necessarily supposed to care about its customer base. It's about profitability. So I guess burn Unity to the ground is the CEO's mantra, as long as at the end of their tenure they are making money in the stock market. So I suppose that's the energy around this. So let's keep on watching this, and we'll report out what everybody else is reporting out. We'll just consolidate it and we can chat. Let's keep on going. This next, I'm sorry. The article actually was, I need to continue with this because I totally just kind of blew past the actual source. Jordan Pearson over at vice.com put this article together. Then the deck statement says that its studios are fighting back against planned changes to the popular tool that could charge a fee every time a user installs the game or a game. But that's basically what this all comes down to. I've read so much about this from various sources that when this floated through initially, we had one article yesterday about it, and then today there's more talk about this. And so I just summarized it really quick and kind of jumped through it. But studios with their names attached to this letter include Azure Games, Voodoo, Homa, Century Games, and 15 others. Motherboard reached out to several of the signatories to confirm their participation, but didn't receive an immediate response. And Unity did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and they won't until, I guess, they get somebody versed in PR to unwind this, because this is certainly turning into a dumpster fire of a policy. In Q3 2022, Unity posted revenue of $171 million from Operate Solutions, which includes ads. Despite this, the company is not profitable, leading to it to make drastic pricing change that is now angering developers. So this is the whole reason behind it, naturally. But Unity has said, if I recall correctly, that others are already agreeing to this. But that's exactly what happened with D&D. But then D&D capitulated. I think that's probably what needs to be done here. Find something else than this rather oppressive policy, at least in my perception. But again, I'm not the CEO of Unity. I'm not driven by the same. You must increase the bottom line, or you will be you will be invited not to return as CEO. So that is their entire job. Increase the profitability. Well, if they increase revenue and increase profitability, even if they lose customers, they're still doing their job. And then people might forget, people might accept. If this would have been slow boated out, instead of just 0 to 60 in 1.2 seconds and just, I think, a rather oppressive policy. Okay, so let's keep on going now. Now we can keep going. Come on, Merwat. Okay, so the next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Samsung to bring artwork from the Met Museum to its frame TVs. Frame TVs aren't necessarily the cheapest things on the block, but price is subjective. Samsung is expanding the art selection available in its frame TVs with the help of a renowned museum. Today, the company and New York City's Metropolitan Museum of Art announced a partnership that will bring 38 pieces from the Met to Samsung's art store. The new artwork is available through a subscription pricing, cost either $5 or $50. So $5 a month or $50 annually, you save $10. So this comes on the heels of the Met last year and others over the course of the year. And by others, I mean museums raising their entrance fees. This is just another way of garnering revenue. And for 38 pieces, $5. If you have a frame and it's mounted in a doctor's office or something, or you have them, again, they're not cheap, then $5 a month isn't a big deal, right? But it's the nickel and dime, the constant nickel and dime. You have to find out what you really want. And I think that's kind of like a fiscal spring cleaning is what everybody is going to start going through. Do I really need this service? Do I really want this here or there or wherever? I think that's what's going to end up happening is people are just going to get tired of it. Like I gave up Adobe just the other day. I uninstalled it off of the 2 computers that it was installed on, deactivated my licenses, canceled my subscription, and I've done it to other things now. I'm finding out what's more important to me. I could pay it, but why? I mean, you're talking about if you're paying full boat because you're not a student, or you're not getting it from your employer or whatever, you're looking at $60 a month for the full cloud service, the Create Cloud, and it may not be worth it to you. So turn it off. You're in charge of that, but talking about it, I think people need to talk about it. But the Met is going to be getting some funding from Samsung, and apparently they need it because they raised their rate, their entrance fee, $5, I think it was. And that's what others are doing now as well, raising their rate. So the article's over at The Verge. Chris Welch is the author. And it's reiterating 38 pieces from the Metropolitan Museum of Art are coming to Samsung's subscription-based art store. And those frame TVs are pretty. They're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So they have these nice semi-custom frame. I think you can select from various types of frames. And it looks like it's an art piece, but it's actually a screen. It's like a wafer thin, really thin. And so you run power back behind this and into the wall, just like you would with anything else, except that it looks like a freaking picture. It's pretty amazing. Like a picture frame. It's almost a great name for a product. Frame TV. Wow. Who knew? Anyway, the article actually has what some of these pictures are going to be. Let's see. Do they have a price here? No. The 2023 edition of the frame is available in numerous sizes ranging from 32 inches to 85 inches. And it says at the back, the art store is backward compatible with previous models of the frame. Yeah, I mean, it's just a simple store. One and done kind of a thing. All right. Wow. If this is what your office consists of, or your living room consists of, wow. I don't know. I guess that would work. I know that somebody in ohmTown would just plow into that thing, and I'd have to get another frame. All right, let's keep on going. This one's going to irritate everybody, I think. This next article is over in The Word in Law. Musk's, I don't even like saying it. The website formerly known as Twitter revokes paid blue check from the United Auto Workers after strike called, because this is the bastion of free speech, the a-hole. Last night, when the clock struck midnight, nearly 13,000 workers at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis went on strike after the so-called Big Three car companies failed to reach an agreement with the UAW. By Friday morning, UAW discovered that X, the website formerly known as Twitter, and I slipped because I will not accept it as being that, is what appeared to be a pretty petty move by the platform owner and Tesla CEO Elon Musk that had stripped their account's verified status, The Intercept reported. Maybe it's an accident and he'll say sorry. No, who's kidding? Anyway, after a report called out Musk's union busting, UAW's blue check got reinstated. That's right. Like everybody who is a sociopathic billionaire, pardon me. I got to get that letter right. Ashley Bellinger over at Ars Technica, the deck statement says after a report called out Musk's union busting, UAW's blue check got reinstated. So you showed them, Elon. The move seemingly makes it harder for UAW to maximize reach for its posts on X, just as workers have begun striking, demanding better wages and other benefits. Ford has claimed that the deal UAW was negotiating would have doubled automaker labor costs, and The Intercept noted that that often wage increases won by union workers trickle down to non-unionized workers like Tesla's. That perhaps worried Musk, who seemingly has a financial interest in keeping auto workers' wages low and a history of union busting. Earlier this year, Musk lost a court battle and had to delete a tweet that threatened Tesla workers attempting to unionize. He's also now he's in negotiations with 2,000 people who he refused to compensate for what they had earned, apparently. And they started to threaten a lawsuit, and he said, we'll keep some negotiators busy, and you can go into mediation. So according to Axios, Tesla pays lower wages than the big three automakers currently faced with striking workers, with Tesla paying an estimated labor cost of $45 to $50 per hour compared to $64 to $67 per hour. This is Musk's way of saying, don't get uppity, Tesla employees. I can always just, automate you. So that's probably what's going to be coming. The company previously was found in violation of labor laws banning workers from wearing pro-union shirts. Last year, the NLRB ordered Tesla to revise its policies to make clear that it does not prohibit production associates from wearing black union shirts. There was also tension earlier this year when Tesla Autopilot Buffalo-based workers tried to unionize, alleging that they were treated like robots and pressured to skip bathroom breaks. Well, you will eventually be replaced by robots. I warn people weekly that if I can take your job and turn it into a series of steps, you are an equation, and I can put that in a robot and replace the biological function with a technological function. And while I find it distasteful, people who seek profit over society, they have zero compunction about replacing humans with robots. Yep, that's right. Because a CEO that has a whole bunch of robots is making money constantly, and they don't have to sit there and be friends with somebody who has to work for a living. Dear God, let's not be crazy. But let's continue on. I need to actually back up just for a second so that I can throw this article into the chat and this article into the chat. There you go, folks. If you are so inclined. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. A fire department clerk in Buffalo reportedly was paid more than $500,000 over 7 years, even though she didn't show up for work and actually had a second job. I titled this one, I Need to Become a Fire Department Clerk in Buffalo. A Buffalo Fire Department clerk was reportedly paid more than $500,000 despite not working. Jill Retman collected checks for 7.5 years while on administrative leave after being accused of tampering with payroll. The fox in charge of the henhouse. She was working another job while she remained on the city's payroll, per investigative post. That's pretty spectacular. The article is by Sarah Jackson over at businessinsider.com. This is pretty amazing. I love the pictures that are listed here. The picture says, underneath the caption says, Jill Retman, not pictured here, reportedly received more than $500,000 while on administrative leave from her clerk job and got a second salary from another job, investigative post reports. Pretty amazing. There's more to this, I'm sure. What was she doing? How could it have existed this long? I know that people who are in charge of payroll can kind of mess things up. Usually it's a small amount. I've bore witness to someone missing a check that has some fundamental impact on the bottom line of a paycheck, but $500,000. It's over $100,000 a year, right? So I'm sorry, it was 7 years. So just under $100,000 a year, and it never showed up on somebody's. It's what her salary was, and she just kept on getting it, apparently. The disciplinary charges brought against her were never resolved, and the city kept her on its payroll, the news organization reported. All the while, she was working a second job in payroll at a home care agency. Doesn't matter who it is that she got a job at. But if I'm working somewhere, if I'm supposed to be working somewhere, I'm on administrative leave, and it hasn't been sussed out that I'm not supposed to get paid, I guess. If I'm still on call but just not getting tapped, I still have the responsibility. This one is kind of rough to I would feel weird, getting a second paycheck from the job that is investigating me. But I suppose if it was never resolved, then she's not really guilty of anything. So I wonder what's actually going to happen here. All right, Buffalo City Hall did not immediately respond to the request for comment. A call to Allwell's payroll department, which I think that they shouldn't even be messing with, shouldn't have been responded to. I think that is actually kind of in poor form. But hey, overemployment, which refers to workers having multiple full-time jobs, often without informing their employers, has been a hot topic this year. It's basically because people supposedly can work from home and can abuse this policy. White-collar workers in remote roles say juggling multiple jobs has helped them double their salaries amid high inflation, though there are some risks, including being found out. Most employers say if you're going to work somewhere else, clear it with your primary employer. Yeah, I mean, somebody should have known about this. And if she wasn't doing her job, she shouldn't have been paid. But I guess she was on administrative leave, so she would get paid until resolution of that based on the terms of her pending dismissal and investigation. Well, she had a lot of free time, so she capitalized on it. I have no dog in this hunt, but I think that they should have resolved this a whole lot faster than how it is right now. It shouldn't have been newsworthy, that's for sure. Do your quick review, get it done, get her back to work, or terminate. Seems odd that it ran this long. Okay, let's keep on going. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. That's the name of the show, but it's also a channel over in ohmTown.com. Archeologists find lid of ancient vault with snake symbol at Mayan palace. This is the home of the Mayan version of the Slytherin house over in Harry Potter land. Researchers discovered the stone artifact in the Acropolis, or royal palace of Ekbalem, an ancient Mayan city inhabited for more than 1,000 years. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those darn invaders. Archaeologists find lid of ancient vault with snake symbol at Mayan palace. Aristos Georgiou is the author of this over at newsweek.com. Let's see here. The stone block was used by the Maya as the cover of a vault, Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History said. Researchers found the stone artifact in the Acropolis, or royal palace of Ekbalem, an ancient Mayan city in the municipality of Temajan in the Yucatan state. The site was inhabited for more than 1,000 years, thriving during the late Classic period, 8600 to 900, which marked the high point of the Mayan culture. And this is the picture of it. This is the vault cover that was discovered at an ancient Mayan site. I wish they'd have maybe they've got another picture of it somewhere. Nope, at least not on mine. I'm kind of protected in ohmTown, so it's hard to see some things that are displayed, but this doesn't look like it has a brighter version with higher contrast. But there's the tail, and it loops around to something right here. I'm not sure what that is, and then back up and around, and there's its head. But it's this red tinted kind of tribal tattoo style, which probably could have, I don't know. This looks like maybe it could be, oh, it has the same thing right here. It's like this little shield on the snake's body in 3 different places at least. So yeah, looks pretty cool. I dig that kind of thing right there. Anyway, the largest structure at Ekbalem is the Acropolis, whose entrance resembles the mouth of a monster with enormous fangs. The Acropolis contains numerous rooms. More than 70 have been found to date. It is among the largest constructions in Mesoamerica, the historical and cultural region that extends across most of Central America and the southern parts of North America. Pretty cool stuff out there, folks. We keep learning more and more about our history and what has led us to where we are today. Who knows if the Mayan weren't invaded or relocated or were impacted by some other event. Who knows what these old ancient civilizations would have become as they capitalize on their buildings instead of people building on top of their buildings, or the forest just taking over the whole damn place. It's pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Warcrafters, and I think it's only because it comes from PC Gaming. Control Shift Alt Win L is the most cursed Windows 11 shortcut combo. And I don't know how somebody finds this out. Because I don't think that there's a manual on every single command that's in Windows. It seems like it's almost an Easter egg hunt. When it comes to force feeding Windows users with in-house product, let's just say Microsoft has Form. Of course, they can't stick to naming the same thing. I have interaction with a product that in, I'd say by the time it's settled, it's shaken out to what it is today. It has changed its name 5 times, and in that time frame, the time frame's 8 years. So it's changed its name quite a bit. But even the Microsoft standards, the revelation brought to our attention by Rudism on the website formerly known as Twitter, that keying up Control-Shift-Alt-Win-L takes you straight to LinkedIn in your default browser. And Windows just seems to be like a 20 gigabyte virus. Jeremy Laird over at PCGamer.com, it sends hundreds of data points of telemetry back to Microsoft. The only version of Windows that you can disable that with, or disable the ability for it to give telemetry out, is the academic version of it for academic institutions. Otherwise, it's all firewall, and GPO and stuff like that. So Jeremy Laird over at PC Gamer put this article together. The deck statement says, professional social media hell is just a keyboard combo away. Yeah, and this one's hidden. I mean, you wouldn't find that in a keystroke on like a mouse click. Maybe you... Can you actually find that? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can actually do a search for it. No, it pulls up. It tries to pull up at least search results. Anyway, there are apparently others like this. And did I throw this into... No, I didn't throw this into the chat. So let me throw it into the chat. And you can follow this link through ohmTown over to keyboard shortcut hell. There are other similar shortcuts for MS Clobber built into Windows 11. Control-Shift-Alt-Win-W opens Word 365, which I believe is now just going to be, like, the whole thing is just going to be called 365. Obviously, select elements, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Control-Shift-Alt-Win-T opens up Teams. I have not installed Teams, but Teams and SharePoint seem to be installed. And it always reaches out, hey, I'm here. And my firewall wants to set itself on fire because it's so tired of having to deal with it. It says here, X or P on the end likewise opens browser-based 365 versions of Excel and PowerPoint, respectively, though O opens the actual Outlook mail client. I wonder if there's like a O365. If you do that, you hit O and then 365 and that'll open it. Probably not. Anyway, shortcuts. If you're a power user, every once in a while you get used to just mashing those keyboard shortcuts instead of what I do. I use I don't know if I would even classify myself nowadays as a power user, but I really don't like keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, I set everything up so that my important links are right there in the shortcut bar. Just do it fast right there. Anyway, intriguingly, it says here in the article, there's a list of useful shortcut combos on Microsoft support website, and there's a link in the article, so go check it out. But it doesn't list the LinkedIn shortcut nor other shortcuts to MS apps running in browsers. Like I said, you just have to drunkenly stumble your way into this keyboard shortcut hell and face roll across your keyboard from time to time, and maybe you'll find, oh, I closed all of my browsers, kind of a thing. Let's keep going. Got 2 more articles. Will I make it under an hour? The race is on. This next article is over in Warcrafters. Looks like NVIDIA has effectively cut the RTX 4070 price to $550 in response to the RX 7800 XT. Hey, look, folks, It is the embodiment of competition. It's the thing that I want more of. It's the thing that consumers benefit from. And mergers and acquisitions should make you really hate mergers and acquisitions because it constrains production, it removes competition, it raises the prices for things, it limits the expansion of features and capabilities. Why? Because all of that costs more money. If a company can sit there and say, no, you'll just take what we give you and you'll be happy, thank you very much, they will do that because they don't care. They want more money. The NVIDIA RTX 4070 looks like it effectively had its base price cut from $600 down to $550, as a host of retailers and manufacturers are now offering cards for a new cut down price. And one of them is what they say in this article, frickin' Across the Spider-Verse card. All right. They say here in this article that their colleagues at Tom's Hardware spotted the trend. This is a PC Gamer article, though. And this is certainly in response to the reception given the recent AMD Radeon RX 7800 XT, which launched at $500 and was warmly received. The author of this card says, I liked it, but that's mostly because it was a full $100 cheaper than the RTX 4070. The 4070, by the way, operates damn near identically to the RTX 3080. So if you have a 3080, don't bother upgrading because it's pretty much the same thing. The only time the 3080 suffers is DLSS, so that's about it. Dave James over at PCGamer.com put the article together. Quote, the deck statement says, with so many retailers and manufacturers suddenly dropping the card to $550, it's hard to believe it's not somehow incentivized by NVIDIA. What's interesting about this is it's really the competitors have a very small margin for their cards because they had to play catch up after NVIDIA didn't announce what the partnership pricing was until after they announced theirs. Now everybody is kind of responding to whatever NVIDIA does. Although NVIDIA is pretty much focusing on AI number crunching. Let's see here. Yeah, it says here that it was cheaper than the AMD Radeon RX 7800 XT, which is a really short name. Was $100 cheaper than the RTX 4070. See, AMD, that's a short name. You got to get on board with this short name. Anyway, it performed as well, if not better, in a lot of games, according to the author. $50 is $50. Guess we'll see. I hope that this continues. I hope that people are tired of paying $1,500, $1,800 for a video card when you used to be able to buy an entire computer for $1,500, including a powerful video card. But I guess that's the old school version of some guy telling you to get off his lawn. In this case, get off my LAN. Interestingly, though, there is no discount in the Founders Edition card from Best Buy, but it's still on sale for the original $600 MSRP. I have an embargo on Best Buy myself because when you used to go into the store, if they happened to spot that you have a piece of electronics, they would stick this stupid sticker on your case or the device, and it would always leave residue. And so I called the person out one of these days and said, hey, why don't you go tell the manager that this is a stupid policy? And it's been 5 years since I've been back. Yeah, I guess I can hold a grudge. Anyway, buy online. Okay, so let's go on to the last article. This last article is in the Law Nerd section and Law Nerd channel over on ohmTown. I would love to launch a show called Law Nerd here in ohmTown. So if you're an attorney and you want to sit there and jibber jabber on, you can talk about the law here on the show. Although there's complexities with that, so we'd have to talk about it. Anyway, this is absolutely what we need to start calling the lawyer in your life. You won't be able to unhear it. Now, I've already heard this. This is at abovethelaw.com. Catherine Rubino is the author for this. And I love what they do here. There's somebody in my sphere that calls themselves a doctor and is a JD. And no, you're not a doctor. You're a Juris Doctor. That's not a doctor. Anyway, there are actually a lot of things you can call a lawyer. Attorney, counselor, esquire, plus the job-specific titles like prosecutor, solicitor, barrister. The list is long, but don't call them doctor. That's just dumb. Attorneys across the board will sit there and say, it's dumb. Well, anyway, what you should be calling attorneys are attack librarians. Yeah, I like that. So it says here, there was a time not so long ago when the author would have agreed, but then they heard the term attack librarian. Combining the penchant for research with an argumentative streak is a brilliant move, and honestly, attack librarian is the platonic ideal of lawyering. Admit it, your life is better now that you've heard attack librarian. You're welcome. Okay, so if you've never heard of Above the Law, go and check out Above the Law. This site is awesome. While they do talk about things with a tinge of legalese, the snark and humor and the legalistic take on it is brilliant and approachable by anybody. You don't have to be an attorney to really, comprehend what's going on over there. So it is a fun site, and I truly do dig them. So I'm always happy to push people over there if you want to go and check it out. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that is it for today's show. Kind of quick, just under an hour. Look at that, folks. Is it even? It's only 9:30. And I started early. I was gonna do the show at 9 o'clock, but I've got a free hour in front now. Earlier, sorry, and so I'm thinking about moving the show to 8 o'clock, but we'll see. After a year and 9 months of doing the show, the first year bouncing around and then sticking to the 9 o'clock hour, I would like to get more people in here and chatting about stuff. So tell a friend, come on in. If you follow here on Twitch, as soon as I go live, you'll get an alert. But typically, we'll be doing the show at 9 p.m. Eastern every day until further notice. I just happened to try this out today at 8:30. So at any rate, that's it for today. We always go back to the very front page right before the end of the show. I refresh it. This is our Main Street, our front page, and they have all kinds of articles. I don't know what's going on in my world right now, but I've been watching Big Bang Theory, and it's shown up. Big Bang Theory little snippets have shown up in my YouTube, even though I've never watched a Big Bang Theory anything on my YouTube in, I would probably say, 4 years at least. Not even a little, funny little segment that happened to pop up. Anyway, Big Bang Theory gets one medical moment wrong in Sheldon scene, according to Doctor. I don't know why that is even in here. I have no idea. Up here is another one. The Wonder Years canceled at ABC after 2 seasons. This was reborn at ABC. Let's see what else is going on. What else? X will now tell you if someone deletes a post you annotated with a community note. They also have made it so that if you like something, you can suppress people finding out that you liked something, but it would still register as a like, which is kind of spineless. I mean, if you're going to sit there and like something that's scummy, then why don't you lean into it? Hero, just like it and let everybody know just your character. Because it isn't just about you being there, it's about the content of a person's character. And liking something that society thinks is the antithesis of the contract, that's the only reason why you would hide it. Why else would you hide it? Meta's next smart glasses may have just shown up in FCC filings. I wonder what those are going to be like. That's going to be interesting. I still won't buy anything from Meta. And let's see what else is going on. If you find anything that you're really interested in, you can either post it either on Discord or in a comment. You can send an email to mayor@ohmTown.com. You can leave a comment over on YouTube, because everything gets funneled over to YouTube eventually. Usually it's the next day. Nowadays it's the next day. I used to do it the same night, but I get pulled away. At any rate, State Department renews ban on the use of U.S. passports to travel to North Korea. Well, people aren't getting really treated. Well, some people. I don't know how often rough rides happen in North Korea, but I won't be going there anytime soon. And I don't know what else. So take a look, noodle around on that front page, and keep on going. I mean, there's hundreds of articles. Just keep on hitting, or actually there's several thousand. Anyway, go check it out. Thank you very much. That's the end of the show. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and I am getting out of here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.